Hey guys, Sean at Top 5 Fit. Tuesday morning, April 11th, about 6:15, 6:20 a.m., something around there. We've been going since about 4 o'clock this morning. We've already got in 3.59 miles at a very slow, ugly pace. But the fun thing was Tax was with us, which always makes that fun and interesting considering he'll chase anything that's running off into the dark. One of the reasons that I actually choose that time pretty consistently to go out and get mileage done is because it's what works in the great scheme of the day. And on today's run, I was actually thinking about what I actually do in a given week to help make sure that I reach my fitness goals, my wellness goals. There's a level of strategy and planning that a lot of people don't take to their fitness world, and I think that's something that creates a lot of issues, and it creates a lot of debilitating feelings that make you not necessarily want to continue on. The reason I said the date at the beginning of this video was mainly because I've noticed such a drop-off in the facilities that I train in from all of the first year or first beginner, January 1st, I'm going to set these goals and be a better person and do this and do that. And right away, it's almost like a 50% decrease in the facilities that I walk into. It's for me, it's kind of nice because I get to use all the equipment, and it's like a kid in a candy store, and it's like, oh boy, I can load up 7 machines and just have a circuit that's to die for, and nobody will get in my way. Whereas in the beginning of January, everybody's in the way, and you have to be nice and polite and make sure you're working in with people and all of that good stuff. But it got me thinking about why exactly these programs get dropped, and why is that such a thing at the beginning of the year? Everyone's very gung-ho, and then all of a sudden the motivation just drops off and they don't really make any more progress. So on this morning's run, we decided to come up with 5 strategies that I actually employ to help make sure that I reach each one of my benchmarks and goals in the fitness world. I have a very art of war mentality sometimes. Everything is a fight, and if you kind of look at things that way, you start looking at more, I guess, damage taken and things gained, and what's worth actually doing in between to make sure those things are minimized and maximized. To start off with, the first thing I want to get into is planning. Planning is kind of a big deal. One of the common excuses I get from athletes or just people in general that come in to work out is they don't have time, or that something came up, ... and there's usually a pretty dramatic story that kind of, I guess, follows that, that beginning there. You're never going to believe I don't have time, and then this happened. Here's the thing, and I've said this to a lot of people in the beginning, you never want to let it get to the point where other people care about your goals more than you do. That's a bad scenario to be in, and people place themselves in that kind of situation all the time. They express a need or a want to make a change or to make a gain, and all of a sudden now they're depending upon some outside source to create that gain for them. They're expecting that outside source to care more, essentially, about what they're doing. Whereas if you paid a little bit more attention to planning, to actually setting up what you're going to be doing in a given week. For example, my morning runs with the young man, the dog, Tax, that's not happening for a pat on the back. I'm not doing that because I want to brag to everybody that I'm up at that time and running. I do it, one, because it's a great time to get him out and get him on the road and get him some exercise, because he is a working class type dog, and if you don't, they're extremely destructive and they'll tear your house apart. But on the other side, it's, quiet time. It's, with the exception of the animals, we can talk, we can communicate, we can go over drills, we can work on pacing, we can focus on the details and the minutia that ultimately make anything you engage in as far as running is concerned successful. And I kind of take that approach to just about every activity, I guess, I engage in. So as far as lifting is concerned, the focus is on execution. The focus is on strength maintenance. The focus is on definitely aesthetics and shaping, but at the same time, as a 44-year-old male, there's a certain standard of living that I'm used to and a certain activity load that I'm used to. And if there's a drop in that in any way, that's a problem, and it's something that ultimately comes back to planning. What did I not pay attention to in my week that created that decrease in my performance? So a big emphasis on planning. It's something you want to pay attention to. Next, consistency. Consistency is fun because you can have probably the greatest plan on the planet. You can have the prettiest, every now and then athletic trainers, personal trainers, life coaches, whatever the title is that you're carrying, they will create their masterpiece. They will write out and put down on paper or type it out or whatever medium they're writing in, or putting it down in it's the thing that just shows their wealth of knowledge and passion for the industry. You will see this and you will turn into a god because you follow it to the letter and that kind of thing. Here's the problem. Again, we talked about the date. It's April and people are already dropping off. Consistency matters. There comes a point in time where you just getting into the fire and staying there. That matters. You just getting up, showing up, grinding, and getting it done, even when you don't want to. Those are some of the most important workouts you will ever have, are the ones when you wake up. Some may be hungover, some may be, in a slight food coma from the overindulgence the night before, but those are the mornings where if you can get your butt out of bed and go move some metal, go knock down some mileage, go stretch a little bit, work on your yoga, work on whatever activity brings you joy in the fitness world. If you can maintain that, again, you're going to see results a lot faster than you realize. Sometimes it's just about showing up. Sometimes it's just about, can you continue this pace? Can you keep moving, with this kind of load on your day and continue to, be successful? So the consistency of any program that you're following matters. And there's a level of patience that's there too. They kind of go hand in hand because in this day and age, I actually heard somebody the other day complain because it took so long for their phone to bring up Facebook. And I found that very shocking. It's like you have a device in your hand that just gave you access to the rest of a bunch of people you know's lives within seconds, and you bitched about those seconds. Okay, so there's a thing about instant gratification that is carried into everybody's life, and unfortunately it happens in fitness too. You think that because you are or you do that you should see something right now. That is a gross overestimation of self. That's a gross overestimation of the work you're actually putting in. So what you want to think about is you're going to go through the grind. You're going to create a kind of consistent timeline that you literally roll through day in and day out over and over and over again. And it's usually after, personally for me, I give everything 2 weeks, 14 days. 14 days lets me know if what I'm doing to try to improve my performance, improve my look, my feel, whatever we're going after, 14 days is what we actually pay attention to. So consistency for me is in 2-week blocks. You hold this pattern, you drink this much water, you take this particular supplement, you hold this particular training regimen for 2 weeks, and then you test it against something that you felt was comfortable. If there's an improvement, do it again. If there's not, don't do it again. It's a pretty easy concept. Try to keep this as simple as possible. So ideally, you've got to give yourself a chance to actually adapt to what you're trying to accomplish. So be consistent, keep showing up, keep doing, keep going, no matter what. That's the thing that you've also got to accept. With consistency, there is this hell or high water. If there's a snowstorm, it's going to happen. Okay, if the baby poops and mommy's home, the diaper gets changed, but the diaper changing is now a competition to see how fast it can get done because you still have to get to the gym. So that prioritizing matters. That consistency in giving yourself to the schedule matters.